DJ, put a nigga back to the record, baby, and give me this right now.
What's going on, everybody? It is the legendary LaShawn here, and I am back at you with another video, and this is a new series that I am going to entitle Can We Talk for a Minute? Actually, I'm just going to cut it off at Can We Talk. We're just going to end it there. But this is basically going to be my discussion series. And the topic, if you can't tell by the gameplay that we have in the background, is going to be on the Spider-Man trailer number 2, I believe, that came out this Tuesday. And I had a good amount of thoughts on it. I just wanted to share some of them with you guys. The first thing that sticks out into my mind, of course, is that this trailer was amazing. There are some people that was kind of saying that they were feeling the superhero fatigue, kind of like they were getting tired of all the superhero movies, that, you know, Hollywood was kind of getting stale, and that the movies were kind of getting stale because it's just all superhero or nothing, which I don't fully agree with, but, you know, everybody has their opinion. But this trailer was amazing. It has me super duper hype, right? And at this point, you know, the only thing that it does have me questioning at this point, because to me, the, I guess, cover up, if you want to call it, to, I guess, try to conceal from people that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield aren't going to be in this movie, they've done a horrible job of it. You already had the YouTuber, I forgot the guy's name, that, you know, there was, I guess, a photo that was leaked out from Marvel, you know, Marvel Studios or whatever else, of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield on set, you know, doing the, I guess, recording or taping of the movie and everything else. So you have that basic confirmation, and even Sony themselves are messing up hugely. Probably by the time that this video comes out, they might have taken the video down to edit it already. But if you go on YouTube and it's still there, try to YouTube in the search bar the Brazilian version of the No Way Home trailer. And if you look closely towards the end, where Lizard, Sandman, and Electro are facing off against Tom Holland, right? Because it's just supposed to be Tom Holland. There's nobody else there. It's just 3 people going up against one Spider-Man, right? Of course, you know, just unwinnable odds. You know, you got to really sell the stakes here, right? But if you pay attention to the Lizard in the Brazilian trailer, it actually shows the Lizard getting hit by invisible air. I guess somehow Spider-Man must also have like ninjutsu or something, like, I don't know, he threw like a Rasengan or Rasen Shuriken or something at the Lizard and hit him in the face, like, when nobody was looking, because, you know, of course air is invisible, so that's the only thing that could be, right? Well, no, of course not. I mean, anybody who, well, I would say that if you're really paying attention, then of course that's going to be either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, right? And another thing is, it's like you're trying to hide this, but it's like, at this point, there's no point. I mean, Doctor Strange was already like, you know, in the trailer, Spider-Man is like, "Oh, what's happening, Doctor Strange?" And Doctor Strange is like, "Oh, they're coming through the portals, and I can't hold them back, Spider-Man. I can't hold them back." And at that point, bro, it's just like you might as well just had Doctor Strange straight up look in the camera and wink right at us. Like, at this point, it's like, all right, we get it. This is going to be one of the biggest Marvel collaborations, right? So, I mean, of course, and the reason why I say this is because, of course, with the Avengers, like, that was amazing. That was fantastic, right? There's no doubting that, right? But anybody who is really into comic book knows that Spider-Man has always been the face of Marvel. That has been their bread and butter. You know, aside from, you know, you got your Captain America, you got your Iron Man, you got your Incredible Hulk. Like, Incredible Hulk is doing some very, very interesting stuff right now. If you have been tuned into the Immortal Hulk, and the way that it wrapped up, yo, that thing has been crazy. But Spider-Man has always kind of been like the face. He's kind of like, a lot of people say that he's the Batman, but in my opinion, I would put Spider-Man over him, only because, like, you know, Spider-Man works with everybody in the Marvel universe, and he's had so many crazy things happen to him, from meeting the One Above All to what is it? I forgot the power that he gained. He gained like this special power in the unit. I think it's called like the the Unipower or something like that. But Spider-Man got this really awesome suit, and he was able to punch the Hulk into space and everything like that. I gotta look up the name, but he's done so many awesome things. He got to be with the Fantastic Four for a little bit when Johnny Storm died. Like, it's been amazing, right? And so this is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest collaboration, not only for that, but also because of the fact that this is a very interesting and a very amazing collaboration. I guess I should say business-wise. And what I mean by that is, Sony and Marvel working together to me sets a really big precedent, because if everything goes well with this collaboration, and I'm not just talking about on Marvel's end, like of course on Marvel's end, but hopefully Sony can really start to get it together with stuff like, what is it, like with Morbius and whoever else they're going to be coming out with. That'll work really well for them, because it shows companies that, hey, more of us need to be working together. Then, is it possible that we can get, like, I don't know. Well, I think they already have a Static Shock movie in the works, if I remember correctly. Is it possible that we can get like a DC versus Marvel movie, that type of thing? And then a live action. Not live action, because anytime you say live action, those movies normally don't go too well. But a actual movie of like different universes kind of coming together. You know what I'm saying? So it would be really interesting. But to me, the main thing that I'm focused on right now isn't even that. Like, that's not the main thing that was interesting to me with the story. The main thing that was with the trailer, I should say. The main thing that was interesting to me is kind of a little bit of the plot that they were revealing. Because when all the villains were coming through and everything, Peter was fighting them, and then Doc Ock was just like, you're not Peter, but you're clearly Spider-Man. So then he kept on fighting them. And it looks like, I guess somehow Spider-Man, took him out, put Doc Ock in the cage and everything like that. My main concern, or I guess the main thing that I was wondering with Doc Ock is, at what point did he come through this portal, right? Because if you remember, in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, Doc Ock ended his story by doing the right thing, right? By rejecting what the AI was telling him to do. He stopped being selfish. He realized that he was basically going to destroy the world with his gigantic, basically miniature sun, which that's a horrible idea. If you understand how gravity works, why would you think that making a miniature sun would ever be a good idea? But that's beside the point. And at the end of that story, he essentially ended it as a good guy, right? Which is interesting to me, because especially now, with the way that Doc Ock has been, of course, that's where the Superior Spider-Man comes from, right? Doc Ock basically taking Peter's body over when he was unconscious, and being Spider-Man for Peter while he was gone. So, at the end of this movie, could it be that type of situation? Because Doctor Strange was saying to Peter, he was like, you're fighting ghosts, and Peter was like, what do you mean by that? And then Doctor Strange was like, every one of them that face Spider-Man, they die. That's their fate, is basically to die, which has been true, right? And this isn't like a Marvel thing, as far as Marvel movies, because of course everybody complains that in Marvel movies, the villain always has to die, right? But in Spider-Man, for the Spider-Man movies, for the large majority of them, like with with Tom Holland, I think he has the least amount of deaths for his movies, because the Vulture, Adrian Toomes, he survived. Mysterio got killed, but he killed himself, and he basically did the same thing kind of that Green Goblin did in the Tobey Maguire one. So I mean, I guess that is what it is. But Tobey Maguire, all of his villains died, and then on top of that, even when in the third one, even though we really don't like to talk about that movie, when Harry did kind of come back to the good side, he basically died for it. And so it's kind of like, it seems like they'll be going towards this theme of like, hey, you can't save everybody. Somebody, has to die, and that this is basically their fate, right? And that's what Doctor Strange basically told him. But it creates an interesting situation for me, because I'm thinking, as far as the plot for the movie, what if this movie isn't going to be like, hey, Electro, Sandman, Green Goblin, the Lizard, and Doc Ock want to take over the world, right? What if that's not the thing? What if it has nothing to do with taking over the world? Because Electro in the trailer also said that, hey, you're not going to take this away from me, right? So what if them coming to this dimension where, I think from what we know in this Marvel Universe dimension, there is no Green Goblin yet. There is no Doc Ock. There is no Lizard. And there definitely isn't no Sandman, right? So what if the plot of the movie is all the villains come through, right? And then somehow they learn of their, fates, as Doctor Strange put it. Their fate to basically just be kind of like cannon fodder to Spider-Man and to die at the end of their stories, right? They learned that everything that they did, it was worthless. It didn't add up to anything. The Green Goblin finds out, how much his death affected Harry and how, he ends up and everything like that, right? And what if the villains aren't like these horrible people? What if they're just like, yo, I don't want to go back to my universe where I'm this horrible person. I have a fresh start here, right? Because again, remember, this is a Sony and Marvel collaboration. And what other movie did Sony produce? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, right? Where the thing was that even though all of these people were Spider-Man, like, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Pig, Spider-Gwen, all that other stuff, even though they were all Spider-Man, their cells were basically deteriorating from being in the wrong universe, right? So now, what if they take that kind of concept of not being able to stay in the same universe and be like, okay, what if we do that for our villains? What if, like, necessarily the villains aren't going to die, but what if the universe is at stake? What if by being there, they're causing damage to that universe and they have to leave or else the universe will be destroyed, right? But the villains, they might not know that and they might be like, well, this is a fresh start for me. I don't have to be a villain here. I don't have to be hated by everybody. Electro could be like, I don't have to be an outcast here. I can just live. And so then that would really present an interesting conflict for Spider-Man, because that's why, in the trailer, I believe he said, like, I can't save everybody or whatever else. And what if that's the dilemma? I think that would be one of the most interesting stories that they could present to us, in my opinion. A story where it's like, it's not a giant sky portal, it's not a bunch of death, chaos, and mayhem going on, even though Green Goblin blowing up those cars and then Doc Ock just throwing cars around, I'm pretty sure some people died. But what if it's the type of story where they get there and it's like, I guess kind of emotional to the point where it's just like, okay, well, I'm in this universe now. I don't have to be the bad guy anymore. I want to stay here and I just want to chill and kind of do my own thing. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because it could be a big possibility that, Green Goblin's just going to be like, oh, I'm crazy. Like, I'm always going to try to hunt you and blah, 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 right? That could be the case. Electro could just be like, oh, I'm going to destroy you, Spider-Man. Like, you made me an outcast and whatever else. That could be a thing. But just think about how interesting it would be if it's just genuinely like, yo, I don't want to be a villain anymore. Like, I like it here. I want to stay, and I could just chill here and be like a normal person, right? Like, Sandman can just chill in his human form. Dr. Octopus can maybe somehow get the, especially since, Peter in this universe has Tony's tech. Doc Ock can get those, metallic limbs removed from him, essentially, especially since he has Tony's tech, he could really help everybody. He could probably take Sandman's powers away and all that other stuff, but it's very clear that there's going to be some type of ramifications to having these villains here, right? It's going to be something where, for whatever reason, they can't stay in this universe. And if I count it out, right, Sandman, Lizard, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro. Those are 5 villains, right? And it seems like they're trying to do a Sinister Six thing. So, if you saw Venom, then you know that, Venom basically got portaled to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, could Venom be that 6? And then if they're going to do that, could Miles Morales be making an appearance in this? Who knows? You tell me what you think. Leave it in the comments below. If you think that I'm just talking out my behind, you can tell me that as well. If I am completely off, you can tell me that. If I missed anything and I'm actually on the right path, let me know. Get a conversation going in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, then also share it with people so that, you can get more information, all that good stuff. And I will see all you people later.